I don't really like drink, and so people have to find a soft drink for me, which is rather a bore for them. And then people say things to me, how much they like my books and how they have been longing to meet me, and it all makes me feel hot and bothered and rather silly. But I manage to cope more or less, and they say how much they love my awful detective Sven he, uh, Hazen. They knew how I hated him, but my publisher always says I'm not to say so. Anyway, I suppose to talk about detectives in real life grew out of all that, and I talked about you, and this girl was standing around listening. When you said an attractive Ophelia, it clicked somehow. I thought, now, who does that remind me of? And then it came to me, of course, the girl at the party today. I rather think she belongs there unless I'm confusing her with some other girl. Poirot signed with Mrs. Molyneux. One always had a lot of patience. Who were these people with whom you went to have drinks? Trespassers, I think, unless it was Treherne, that sort of name. He's a tycoon, rich, something in the city, but he spent most of his life in South Africa. He has a wife? Yes, very good looking woman, much younger than he is, lots of golden hair, second wife. The daughter was the first wife's daughter. Then there was an uncle of incredible antiquity, rather deaf, his frightfully distinguished strings of letter after his name. An admiral or an air marshal or something. He's an astronomer too, I think. Anyway, he's got a kind of big telescope sticking out of the roof, though I suppose that might be just a hobby. There was a foreign girl there too, who sort of trots about after the old boy, goes up to London with him, I believe, and sees he doesn't get one over. Rather pretty she was. Poirot sorted out the information Mrs. Oliver had supplied him with, feeling rather like a human computer. There lives then in the house, Mr. and Mrs. Traverses. It's not Travers, as I remember now, it's Westerick. That is not at all the same type of name. Yes, it is. It's a Cornish name, isn't it? There lives there then Mr. and Mrs. Westerick, the distinguished elderly uncle. Is his name Westerick too? It's Sir Roderick something. And that's the Alpa girl, and whatever she is, and her daughter. Any more children? I don't think so, but I don't really know. The daughter doesn't live at home, by the way. She was only down for the weekend. Doesn't get on with the stepmother, I expect. She's got a job in London, and she's picked up with a boyfriend they don't much like, so I understand. You seem to know quite a lot about the family. Oh well, one picks things up. The Lorimier are great talkers, always chattering about someone or the other. One hears a lot of gossip about the people all around. Sometimes those one gets them mixed up. I probably have. I wished I could remember the girl's Christian name. Something connected with a song. Thora? Speak to me, Thora? Thora, something like that. Or Myra? Oh Myra, my love is all for thee. Something like that. I dreamt I dwelt in marble halls. Norma? Or do I mean Meridana? Norma Restrict, that's right, I'm sure. She added inconsequently, she's the third girl. I thought you said you thought she was an only girl. So she is, or I think so. Then what do you mean by saying she's the third girl? Good gracious, don't you know what a third girl is? Don't you read the Times? I read the births, steps, and marriages and such articles as I find of interest. No, I mean the front advertisement page. Only it isn't in the front now. so I'm thinking of taking some other paper, but I'll show you. She went to a side table and snatched up the Times, turned the pages over and broached it to him. Here you are, look. Third girl. For comfortable second floor, flat, own room, central heating, Earl's Court. Third girl and wanted to share flat. 5 weekend own. Fourth girl wanted Regent's Park own room. It's the way girls like living now. Better than PG's or hostel. The main girl takes a furnished flat and then shares out the rent. Second girl is usually a friend, and then they find a third girl by advertising if they don't know one. And as you'll see, very often they manage to squeeze in a fourth girl. First girl takes the best room, second girl pays rather less. Third girl less still and is stuck in a cat hole. They fix it among themselves which one has the flat to herself which night a week or someone like that. It works reasonably well. And where does this girl whose name might just possibly be Norma live in London? As I've told you, I don't really know anything about her, but you could find out. Oh yes, I expect that could be quite easy. You're sure there was no talk, no mention of an unexpected death? Do you mean a death in London or at the Restoric's home? Either. I don't think so. Shall I see what I can wake up? Mrs. Oliver's eyes sparkled with excitement. She was by now entering into the spirit of the thing. That would be very kind. I'll ring up the lorry-meters. Actually now would be quite a good time. She went towards the telephone. I shall have to think reasons and things, perhaps invent things. She looked towards Poirot rather doubtfully. But naturally, that is understood. You are a woman of imagination and you will have no difficulty, but now not too fantastic. You understand modernization.